What does this mean for the future of Predator? Back in July, fans at San Diego Comic-Con were introduced to the first 15 minutes of Predator Badlands, Dan Trachtenberg's latest Predator adventure after Prey and Predator Killer of Killers. The footage was, by all accounts, pretty badass, and amongst other things, showcased the central draw of Badlands, that it's all about the Yautja themselves. Or Yautja, however you want to say it. It doesn't matter. It's made up. Unlike all previous entries, it's squarely about the Yautja, with no human character perspectives to interfere with the alien-centric narrative. This is a bit of a high-stakes gamble, a sort of defiant roar in the face of a 4-decade-old legacy. After all, this is a franchise built on the visceral, terrifying cat-and-mouse game between humanity and an apex alien predator. Removing the mouse isn't just a twist, it's a fundamental reimagining of the franchise's DNA. Can it work? That's hardly the right question. The real question is, what does this mean for the future of Predator? To understand the magnitude of this decision, let's take a little trip back in time to understand the core appeal of the Predator films, from John McTiernan's 1987 masterpiece to the aforementioned critically acclaimed Killer of Killers. The formula, while evolving, has remained remarkably consistent. Even Shane Black's provocative take, 2018's The Predator, followed this formula to some degree, except in that one the Predators wanted a child with autism. Great film. At its heart, Predator is a survival horror film disguised as an action spectacle. The suspense stems from being stalked by an unseen, technologically superior foe. While we see the Predator's capabilities, the narrative lens is firmly fixed on the human experience of being hunted. We share their fear, their confusion, and their desperate fight for survival. Whether it's the elite team of mercenaries at the center of the original film, Donald Glover's take-no-shit LA cop from its sequel, the selection of highly skilled murderers from Predators, or even the Predator's gaggle of comedy relief military prisoners. Whatever the case may be, all the way through Prey and Killer of Killers, it's been roughly the same formula. No matter what innovation filmmakers have added to the franchise, like having the Yautja going after autistic children, it's always been about hunting humans to some degree. Until now. It's also worth noting what we expect from the Predator's physical appearance. Dreadlocks, mandibles, a mouth in need of a sensor bar, plasma caster, cloaking device, wrist blades. It's all instantly recognizable, an iconic design. This established framework has fostered a loyal fan base, one that appreciates the evolving dynamics of the hunt, but largely expects humans to be central to the dynamic. Badlands' pivot doesn't just subvert expectations, it essentially obliterates them, demanding a complete reevaluation of what a Predator film can be. The most immediate concern for fans, however, is pretty obvious. Without human characters, where does the tension come from? After all, humans are the audience avatars in these films. We project ourselves onto Dutch, Harrigan, Royce, and Naru. Their fear is our fear, their triumphs, our triumphs. A film devoid of this human connection risks feeling detached from what's going on screen. It could even wind up feeling emotionally hollow. And what exactly is Deck, our young and inexperienced Yautja protagonist, meant to be hunting in Badlands? Alien fauna and flora in equal measure, based on what we've seen from the trailers, not to mention some form of giant monster. This could easily devolve into a visually impressive but narratively unengaging monster movie, more interested in CGI spectacle than in the unique hook of Predator, which would be the intelligence and strategic prowess of its quarry. There's also the stakes of the piece. The original films build suspense by showing the humans slowly realizing what they're up against. How do you replicate that when you're following the hunter himself? What are the stakes? We know from the footage shown at San Diego Comic-Con that Deck is attempting to prove himself to his father, who in the film's opening moments kills Deck's brother for the crime of not himself ending Deck's life for being a weakling. So we do have something resembling a traditional narrative hook, albeit without the humanity inherent in, well, humans. It's a gamble that could definitely work out, but which I I fear could prove too alien for mass audiences. Screw it, pun intended. The concepts are potentially interesting, but don't carry the same primal weight of human survival. Another part of the Predator's mystique is its limited screen time, its preference for remaining hidden, both literally and from a narrative perspective. A film entirely from their perspective might demystify them, showing too much too often and eroding that otherness which makes them terrifying. Too much time spent with a badass monster could very quickly descend into monotony. I don't think these are insignificant concerns. The creative team is walking a tightrope over fan disappointment. If Trachtenberg and co-writer Patrick Eisen falter, Badlands could be remembered as the entry which broke the franchise, not reinvented it. However, every great risk carries with it the potential for an equally great reward. If Badlands succeeds, it won't just be a good Predator film, it will redefine the franchise and expand its lore in unprecedented ways. The most tantalizing aspect here is the unveiling of the Yautja culture. For decades, these alien creatures have been defined by their hunts. Now we might finally get to delve just a little more into their society, their hierarchies, their rituals, philosophies, and of course, their internal conflicts. We also get the chance to explore the hunt from the hunter's point of view. What does the dangerous planet we've seen in the trailers mean to a Yautja? We know from the aforementioned SDCC footage that it's potentially too dangerous for a Yautja of Deck's limited experience. What exactly is it that the Yautja would consider too dangerous for their least qualified hunters? It's interesting given so far all we've seen on the prey front are humans and xenomorphs. Speaking of xenomorphs, one thing we have very limited experience with is a Yautja with a character arc. We get it to some degree in Alien vs. Predator as well as in The Predator, but these are very technical inclusions. In the grand scheme, we've yet to experience the Yautja as proper characters, and so to have one with an internal conflict and real character development is a huge departure from our previous experiences with the franchise. There's also something I've failed to mention thus far, and that's the synthetic character Thea, as played by Elle Fanning. A lot of her whole deal is still very much a mystery, but we know that she's a Weyland-Yutani android and that she's not alone. There's also the even more mysterious soldier synths whom we see in the trailers. These characters, primarily Thea, represent the human element, even if the film doesn't showcase any traditional flesh and blood people. We've seen in the past multiple times that synthetics can have a diverse range of personalities, and that's also the case with Thea, who seems to have a humorous edge to her that should alleviate many of the inherent issues with a main character who speaks an alien language and, well, has a face like this. All of this is in addition, of course, to the fact that Predator Badlands has landed a PG-13 rating. That's another huge change-up for the series, which hasn't had such a family-friendly MPA rating since Alien vs. Predator. For a franchise so dedicated to its own bloodlust, it's easy to make some initial judgments due to the rating, but to those concerns I say, pshaw. The rating is due to the fact that, as we've already talked about, there are no humans and therefore no human gore. Instead, we've got a hodgepodge of alien creatures and synthetics for our lead Yautja to tear apart. In a way, this is actually brilliant. It opens the franchise up to wider audiences without kidifying the material. I guess this is all just to say that I'm personally super pumped for Predator Badlands. It's a risky proposition for sure, and could certainly wind up being a total mess. However, with Dan Trachtenberg at the helm once again, and based on the trailers we've seen thus far, I think that what we've got here is a bona fide classic in the making. Yeah, could be me setting myself up for failure, but screw it. Badlands looks like a hell of a good time, and that's thanks in huge part to the changes it's made to the franchise. But hey, what do you think? Let me know in the comments what your expectations are for the latest Predator film, unless it's now the future and you've seen it already, in which case tell me how was it? Was it good? I'd love to know, time-traveling person. And until next time, thank you for watching ScreenRant.